Thanks, Jenny. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome. Okay, so opening up with the OER Collective. So this is what we're going to be talking about. First of all, what are OER? Why are they important for staff and students? What is the OER Collective? What aspects of open textbooks help us and our students? And how can you find out more? Okay, so what are OER? They are open educational resources. They are openly licensed. They're free to use, reuse, remix and share, depending on the creator's permissions. Creators still retain copyright. They are digital or physical, and they can be large, like open textbooks. They can be small, like slide decks or infographics or videos or interactive elements, or they can be in between, like a board game. Okay, so why are OER and particularly open textbooks important for staff and students? So earlier this year, the library ran a survey to find out how students feel about their prescribed textbooks. And this is just an image of the distribution of our respondents and some of the questions that we asked. The first one was, do students buy their prescribed textbooks? And only 23% of respondents bought all of them. Okay, if they did buy their textbooks, how much did they spend? And you can see there the cost ranged from $90 to $600. Now, that did depend on whether the books were bought just for one subject or for many, and whether they were bought new or secondhand. Did the texts provide value for money? Nope. And here are some more responses that we got. I'll use a textbook for a research assignment, but that's all. I only use online textbooks, and that's rare. This was from a second-year student. There's too much information in them, which is overwhelming. I prefer research papers. They provide good information, but I can also get that from lecture slides, which summarise the content. I only use parts of them, never the whole book. They're too expensive, and I can still get good marks without them. So as a summary of our survey results, you can see students told us they use textbooks only if they can find answers to quizzes or assignment questions. They found duplication of content between the textbooks and their lecture slides. And as we've seen, they didn't feel that they were cost effective. However, there is kind of a note of optimism in all of this because we're not alone in this. Students across the sector in Australia and overseas have had similar experiences with prescribed textbooks. So we're not alone. There are solutions, and I'm about to describe one of them to you. OER Collective. What is the OER Collective? Okay, this was initially a pilot project established by the Council of Australian University Librarians, or COUL, in January 2022, and they had 3 aims. And the first one was to build infrastructure and capacity for the publication of open textbooks, and they want to move the OER agenda forward at a national level, which is desperately needed. The second aim was to facilitate collaborative creation between institutions and publication of open textbooks by offering grants with a preference for the inclusion of local and or Indigenous content. And the third aim was to allow collective member institutions, of which we are one, to publish their own textbooks in their own chosen disciplines, so not having to fit into that grant parameter. And the good news is that the pilot project has moved to an established service from 2024. So the OER Collective will lead sector-wide initiatives that focus on developing that capacity and capability for publishing open textbooks on their publication platform Pressbooks. They're also going to work closely with key stakeholders in the higher education sector to advance OER within the broader OEP agenda, which is open educational practice. And they've given us resources and training, and you can see a diagram of the OER Collective publishing workflow there, and it just takes you through step by step. It's very handy. Okay, so talking about open textbooks and how they can help us and our students. So the first one is relevance. And you can see there that the flexibility of OER enables instructors to incorporate topics that are relevant to students' lives. Students can engage with real-world examples which reflect their own societies and cultures, and that's been shown to increase engagement and, as a follow-on, retention. So for teaching staff, open textbooks that are online can be updated very quickly and easily, Content can be aligned to curriculum to reduce cognitive load for students and connect them more closely to their learning. The next one is inclusion and diversity. And you can see this is a quote from an Australian scoping study that was undertaken in 2022. And they noted that students saw instances of seeing themselves in readings and learning materials, made them feel more positive about what they could achieve. So open textbooks can address injustices by improving inclusion and diversity. And you can see from this quote, it gives them a sense of aspiration. It can prepare them better for their futures and foster a sense of belonging, which in turn, again, impacts on student engagement and retention. Now, in terms of staff, we open up time for you. Our teaching liaison librarians have curated lots of lists of school-specific open textbooks, and you can see that you can use them as is. You can adapt them by reducing the content, changing spelling, introducing local examples or case studies, and you can align them to your course with, of course, library support to help you do that. They also open up resources. They open up so many avenues, and our Open Educational Resources Guide has actually put together Australian and international repositories of open texts so that you can have a look at what's out there already. And again, teaching liaison librarians can support you in finding texts that you need. Okay, if you would like to know more, you can go to our library guide to open educational resources, and I've got the link there, and you can contact your school's teaching liaison librarian or me. I've just got a list of references there, and I'll take questions at the end, or if you can't think of questions now, please email me because I'm very, very happy to answer questions. Thank you.